Alrighty, welcome everyone to Polly Podcast episode 18. We have Static Relay joining us with Grumbly Ghost here on the Twitch live stream at twitch.tv/Pollyverse. Say hello to the two Polyversians themselves. Hope they're having a lovely day. I hope you all are at home as well listening to this. Yes, if you're on the video version, you can see their messages as they write them. Static Relay gives a big yo. And I don't have the webcam today, that should be noted. I don't have a webcam on because I forgot it. So there's just a funny image of me over the Polyverse banner. Grumbly Ghost also says hello right now. We're getting a lot of hellos in the chat. That's a very warm welcome from our Twitch live stream Polyverse audience. Yes, indeed. So today we've got a very special episode of Polly Podcast. Now, I warned you all in the previous episode that I'm going to be expanding my horizons of Polly Podcast. I'm going to be expanding the horizon and spanning the genres themselves of what we cover here. You know, it's obviously quite a journal-styled podcast where I talk about my thoughts and feelings on various subjects, usually around creativity, spanning interviews and stories and poems and whatnot, but we've got to be diving into perhaps the more avant-garde side of what was already fairly niche on its own. Okay. So, as you all may be aware, my name is Torkel. I'm Torkel the writer, Torkel Tenberg. I'm a Swedish man. I'm also Australian, but I have that heritage there, and I do Duolingo lessons. I'm on a 322-day streak at the moment. That was kind of my New Year's resolution going into this year, earlier this year, in 2023, to brush up on my Swedish a little bit because, I was pretty much fluent, and then I started to drop it over the years as, I spoke to those Swedish friends that I had a little bit less, and I was no longer living in the land of Europe, namely England when I was there. So I've been doing these Duolingo lessons, and how that ties into this episode is, well, I'm going to be connecting with those Swedish roots by reading to you all a list of new arrivals at IKEA. As you all know, is a Swedish company. It's a beautiful blue and yellow logo, IKEA. We're going to be reading to you the names of these hard-to-pronounce products that are often, Swedish names by design. And we're going to be telling you some of the great deals and discounts and uses of these products over the course of this episode. See how you all like that. And Grumbly Ghost in the Twitch live stream says, audiobooks for things that don't need audiobooks. And I mean, that's perhaps quite accurate for this. So let us begin. With our first item is called Färgklar. Now, this is a set of dishes, or tallrik in Swedish. So this is a bunch of, I'm forgetting the English word now, forgive me. This is, dishes is not the right word, plates and bowls. This is an 18-piece set. It's $49. It's got a 4-star review. And that is Färgklar, which funnily enough, färg means color in Swedish, and klar means completed or finished. So color completed. I'm not quite sure what that means because as far as I can see, this product is plain white. Grumbly Ghost has a message in the Twitch live stream here. Has IKEA sponsored this episode, or is this like the Swedish version of mandatory military service? Now, that's a good question, and I'm actually going to say no comment on that. As we proceed to the next product on our list, we have Rosenrobinja. Now, that sounds a little bit like Ribena, doesn't it? But not to be mistaken for Ribena, as this these are some curtains. Okay, there's some nice sort of sheer, plain white curtains. You could get the sun through. This is very nice in a Swedish summer. Usually you have 2 sets of curtains in Sweden because you have thick curtains to, kind of keep out the cold from the windows, as well as your thick double glazed windows, of course. And then you might have this thinner fabric for the summer to let the light in. Okay, now this is Rosen Robinia, and this is $45. This has a 5-star review, a perfect 5-star review out of 12 reviews. So this is quite a good product, as you can see. New arrival in IKEA. Grumbly Ghost in Twitch chat has a message for earlier, as we stated with Färgklar. Grumbly Ghost says, white is the combination of all colors. So there you have it. That might be the explanation. As we move on to the third new arrival, this is Brunkrisla. And I'll be providing descriptions of these words as I so see fit. Some of them I'm obviously unfamiliar with. Some of them are completely made up. As we said for the first one, Färgklar, that's not a word. That's 2 different words combined. And IKEA does this quite commonly, I have to say. So this new product, Brunkrisla, this is an interesting product as it's a duvet cover and 2 pillowcases. This is a whole set for your bed. And it's quite nice. It has a sort of checkered pattern. Or I wouldn't quite say checkered because it's quite large squares. It's more blocky. And it's quite stylistic, modern colors. This is kind of greens, dark forest greens, and light pastel yellows and creams and soft blues. And this is only $39 for that entire set. That's quite a good product. This has a lot of sales already. This has 427 reviews and a 4.5-star rating out of 5. So this is quite good. And now on to our next product. This is Stråla. Now this is a kind of LED lighting. I'd call it a fairy lights. And perhaps this is perfect, a little product in time for Christmas, you might say. And now the image that IKEA has on their website here for this product is they have it all, these fairy lights jumbled up and placed inside of a glass container to sort of light up the glass like a little, quite a nice modern little lighting arrangement. Okay, but I have read on other fairy light products that it's not good to jumble up the lights like that, so I'm not quite sure what that's about. But this is on sale at the moment, actually. It hasn't sold that well comparatively to the previous product. It was $19, and keep in mind, this is an LED lighting chain of over 100, I'm not going to say over, it is 160 lights. This was $19 and is now cut down almost 50%. It's down to $11.40. And why I said this hasn't sold that well, it's a new arrival product and it only has 1 review. It was a 5-star review, mind you, but only 1 review, indicating that perhaps it hasn't sold that well, and that's why it's on sale. Just give me a quick break here to sip some water. Hope you're all enjoying this Polly Podcast episode 18 as we go through IKEA products. I should perhaps change the title of the stream because I previously had a different idea for this episode. Reviewing. How do you spell review? IKEA products. There we go. If that doesn't get the people watching, I don't know what will. Now, our next product, this is labeled as a bestseller, ladies and gentlemen, people beyond the binary. This is a bestseller. And Grumbly Ghost has a comment on the Twitch live stream here. Is this not your creative process? 3 question marks, and that's a reference to the previous title of the stream was, what is your creative process? And I thought that would be the topic of this podcast episode, but inevitably it has switched onto reviewing IKEA products. And you may say that this is part of my creative process. You could say that. You could make that statement, indeed. As we review this bestseller item, Billy. Okay, that's Billy. That's not too hard of a word to say. And this is a single columned bookshelf. And this is $99. This is a white bookshelf here. And this is rated 5 stars of over 1,000 reviews. That's quite impressive. Grumbly Ghost says in the live stream, I was taking notes, refiling this under late stage capitalism. As we proceed onto our next product here, Vinterfint. And now this one I can give you a little translation for. Vinter, as you can imagine, is winter in Swedish. And fint means nice or fine or beautiful. So, yeah, winter nice. And now this is some wrapping paper. And it looks to be quite Christmassy. Red horses, and perhaps even reindeer, and little Christmas trees on there by the look of it. This is a cheap product. This was $2.50 for 3 meter roll. It's now down to $1.50. As we move on to our next product, Korsning. And this is a outdoor rug. Oh, and I can see the size of this is quite large. It's perfect for your outdoor balcony or deck to have underneath your table, as well as a few chairs. It's rectangular in shape. I am rectangular. And it's $149. That seems a little steep for my taste. But it is 2 meters by 3 meters long. And it does have a perfect 5-star review. Notably, though, only out of 6 reviews. Okay. So $149 outdoor rug there. Korsning. On to the next product. This one is actually the same name as a previous product, Vinterfint. And now this is just a different colorway and pattern to that same roll of a gift wrapping. So I believe this is perhaps 3 different gift wrap rolls, all Christmassy themed, but this is a little bit more modernized, a little bit less red and green, and a little bit more tan and brown colors and whites and creams. So that's quite nice. Yes, and this is 9 meters of rolls. This is 3 rolls, I can confirm for you. It was $6.50 and it's now $3.90. So not bad. Not a bad deal there. On to our next product here from IKEA. This is Polly Podcast episode 18. And we're talking about IKEA products. And I'm helping you today to decipher the names of these new IKEA products, these latest arrivals. My name is Torkel, the writer. I'm Swedish born. So I'm helping you go through these Swedish company and their products, get you a better understanding of what you're shopping for this Christmas season. As we head over to our next product, Bondrum. Okay, so this is interesting. IKEA does this quite a lot actually, and it's almost a riddle in the name. So the product, what it is a duvet cover and a pillowcase. And this is for a child-sized bed, I would say, a small bed. And these are white sheets and pillow cover. And they have red love hearts on them. And so the name barn, that means child or children. And drum, that means dream. So barn, drum. They put it together once again, 2 words into one. That means a child's dream. But also, it's kind of a play on words, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but drum is almost similar to room, which is a room. So obviously the lettering is different here because we have extra letters in the Swedish alphabet. So they're using the O with 2 dots on top of it, which is the wrong letter for room or room. But you could imagine their child room. It could also be played into the I don't know. On to our next product. Hatåsen. Now, this is a bedside table. Oh, I didn't say the price. Oh, forgive me. I didn't say the price of that previous product, Bondrum, which was $30. Now, back to our current product, Hatåsen. It's a bedside table, a bit of a shelf unit, and this is quite industrial looking, quite modern. It's a sort of, I want to call that algae green, a sort of leaf green, almost grey. Very modern, but industrial as well. It looks to be metallic and quite like a cafeteria lunch tray made into a small little bedside table. And this is a $39 product here. Grumbly Ghost has a comment in the live stream. $30 is a bit outside the reach of a child's dream. And that might be quite right. You might be quite right there. But I will add to this with my Swedish knowledge. If you're a child in Sweden, well, perhaps not a child, but if you're a teenager, you'll be getting paid to go to high school. I don't know what the rule is about children, but you'll be getting paid to go to high school. So if you're a high schooler and you want to afford little love hearts on your sheets, you could afford this with some pocket money from your high school wage. That is serious. You get paid to go to school in Sweden. Grumbly Ghost is quite surprised by this. Grumbly Ghost says you get a UBI for going to school. Yes, you do in Sweden. You get a very small little nice wage. They could pay your rent in a cheap apartment. That's kind of the idea of it for high schools, or gymnasiums they call it. And they're quite similar to TAFEs in their structure. Very customizable choices. And the same can be said for university as well. You also get paid for going to university in Sweden. A small, nice little wage to help with your living situation. When I was living there myself, I did a few months of classes at a gymnasium, and I took basketball as one of my classes, and Swedish lessons as one of my classes that I had with a bunch of lovely foreign students, and they were adults and elderly and all sorts of interesting people there that I met, and I got paid enough to pay my rent by going to those classes. There's no debt to repay. No, not to my knowledge. There's no debt to repay. You're just simply paid this money by the government because it benefits the society to have educated and skilled workers in the workforce. Almost seems like common sense. And on to this, that's not a comment on any other society, though we are reviewing IKEA products here. That's a hyper-capitalist company. onto the next product. I've actually got to skip the next few products because they're all vinterfint once again. And onto the next product after those two. We have Ektorp. This is a 3-seat sofa. This is a nice little sofa. It looks a bit cheap if I'm being honest. And it's $799, so, it's strange. It doesn't look $799. But it has a 4.5-star rating out of 136 reviews, so who am I? Who the fuck am I? Grumbly Ghost is requesting that I do every new IKEA product, and I'd say, to that I say, I'm actually going to wrap this up pretty soon, because if I do every new one, that's 2,699 new arrivals, and we've already been going for 20 minutes, and I've done about 9. So... Alhengemal. Interesting. That's definitely a combination of several words there. Grumbly Ghost says you can buy it with your university cash. Yes. I've considered that, going to university in Sweden perhaps, so then I could not have any debt. As I say, my knowledge, I just want to preface this with my knowledge may be out of date, but I know that this has been the norm in Sweden for a very long time, so I don't suspect it would change. That you're paid to go to university and high school and whatnot. It's very much a society that tries to take care of the everyday people. Alhengemål. This is another duvet cover and 2 pillowcases for $39. This is certainly a more checkered pattern than the previous one. This is a classic checkered pattern here. Nice, really little details on the edges there. And we're going to skip this next product. This is another Vinterfint. There seems to be a whole range of Vinterfint products which are all in the theme of a Swedish Christmas. Lots of reds and whites, and this is a tablecloth, quite a popular item. You're having your Christmas dinner around, you want to lay down a nice $18 tablecloth to spill your lingonsylt på den, kanske. Now, on to our next product. Bärfis. This is a hanger for your door. This is very modern style. This is quite trippy. Almost looks like a little solar system hanging from your door, but it's wood, so it's not a planet. And it has a picture of a child hanging his tennis balls on it, so that's kind of perhaps a young Björn Borg. A young Björn Borg in the making for those of you who are tennis fans out there. This is a $35 product. Aftonsparv. Aftonsparv. Now, afton means after. Now in Sweden, this is actually very interesting. We call Christmas jul, but the celebration of Christmas is often referred to as julafton, which means after. Oh, sorry. I'm so incredibly sorry. Afton does not mean after, it means eve. It's the opposite. So julafton, that's often the biggest day of Christmas celebration in Sweden, Christmas Eve, if I'm not mistaken. Christmas Day is lesser so. So, Aftonsparv, this is a roll of paper, a blank roll of paper with nice little streets and stars and gadgets on it for your child to colour in with a colouring in pencil or crayon. This is $8 for 10 meters. So that's a lot of fun to keep your child busy perhaps on julafton while all the adults are perhaps drinking alcohol from the government-run liquor stores. That's another Swedish reference. For you, anyone who's interested. Now, my knowledge may be a little bit lacking in this area, but you can't simply open up a liquor store in Sweden. All liquor stores, I believe, are run through the government. I'm just Googling this now. Sweden liquor store. Systembolaget, that's the name for it. Systembolaget. It's known as the Swiss System Company. And yes, it is a government-owned chain of liquor stores. It's the only retail store allowed to sell alcoholic beverages that contain more than 3.5% alcohol by volume. So this is another fun fact about Sweden, is that all the liquor stores are owned by the government and they're all the same. And when you go into them, it's not like your Dan Murphy's or your bloody, I don't know, any other liquor stores in Australia. Liquor barons or celebrations. It's not like that at all. It's more like a pharmacy. There's not really any advertising, and it's very plainly set up. And you almost feel ashamed going into there, like you're going in to get some drugs, which is what alcohol is at the end of the day, isn't it? I may be biased there. But that is a little fun fact of Sweden. Systembolaget, not a product of IKEA. On to our next product now. This is an expensive product. Vitmåsen. Oh, vitmåsen. Now this is interesting because vit means white. And this is a white pocket-sprung double mattress. It has a white sort of topper to it, but the majority of the product is actually more of a dark grey. So vitmåsen, this is interesting because mås actually means seagull. And N, if you put N, like E-N, on the end of a word in Swedish, that basically means the. So you would say mås means seagull. And if you say måsen, that means the seagull. And that applies to almost every single word. Just add en onto the end and you're saying the word, whatever it is. So this product is a combination of white, the seagull. So I guess it's the white seagull is the product. Quite fun, isn't it? That's $499 mattress. Yes, Grumbly Ghost, that's right. This product is called the White Seagull, if you were to translate it into English, and it's a mattress. Oh, no. Yeah, the seagull, yes. Not the seagull, the seagull, yes. I see what you mean there. Yes. Words are fun, aren't they? Words are fun. We hope you're enjoying this experience of the Polly Podcast IKEA latest arrival review. We're going through all 2,699 products today. On to our next product here. Good middag.